622 days since Richard on Fort Bliss. And yes, veterans are involved. Yes, this is internal. Active duty is involved. Um, so let's make sure that I'm on. It looks like I'm on. Okay. So, okay. And, today is, I have to start off by saying Merry Christmas. It is the 9th day of Christmas. There are 12 days of Christmas. I don't know why that hasn't been, I don't know, made clear. Christmas didn't start until Christmas, right? And then there's 12 days of Christmas. Before then, it was Advent. And yeah, 12 days of Christmas. So don't give up on your celebrating just yet. Don't put up your lights or your tree. Enjoy it. You have 12 days until the Epiphany, until the Magi celebration, where we celebrate the wise men reading the stars in their course, right? Seeing the Star of Bethlehem, following it, knowing the prophecy, being well learned in the prophecy, understanding what's wrong and what is the solution, and following the star for the solution, which is Jesus Christ, right? So this is really what's going on, every day in the world, is you have to learn how to read the problems. You have to know what's going on and what it might be a psyop. There's a lot of psyops going on. Matter of fact, they had in our case the casualty affairs officer involved in a psyop. You have the command on Fort Bliss involved in a psyop, withholding information, just like Bill Hicks withheld information from these cases that were, was just revealed in the news. He's no longer anything, right? He's no longer. I mean, he'll forever go down as the usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. Now we have Montoya, who was sworn in, but I don't see that, they posted his anti-bribe line, his anti-bribe statement. Maybe that's with the Secretary of State. Hopefully he signed it before he took the oath of office. I'm very skeptical about all of this manipulation of our system because of what we have discovered while investigating our son's case. And it seemed, because Bill Hicks wasn't the only usurper, right? He wasn't the only imposter. And it seems that, signing that anti-bribe line before the oath is not a popular thing to do, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Thank you, God, for the Texas Constitution. And if you sign it afterwards, let's say you take the oath and then you go back in an office and sign it, that statement is nullified. Okay, it's trash. It's shot. It doesn't have any meaning because the Texas Constitution says you have to sign it before you take the oath, which makes sense, right? We want to know if you took a bribe before you take the oath of office. That's what that is all about. And, do you have loyalties to somebody else besides Texas, besides the United States of America? And, so that makes a lot of sense there. And even with that, we don't really check. We don't check to say, wait a minute, let's see his his anti-bribe statement. It's called the Statement of Officer. Let's see it. We want to see everybody's anti-bribe. We should even have a ceremony for signing the Statement of Officer before the oath of office is taken. That should be, even if you don't want a lot of fanfare, like James Montoya, he didn't have a lot of fanfare. It should still both be there. And I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I think it's really important that everybody see it and that it's made a point that everyone sees it, because we have a lot of bribes, we have a lot of corruption, we have a lot of colluding in order to do harm. And we in El Paso, there's hopefully he is a legitimate district attorney. Wow, wouldn't that be nice? Because we had a usurper in Bill Hicks. We had an absolute usurper. And on top of that, we have an illegal medical examiner, a chief medical examiner, $430,000 a year paying, or even more now. I'm sure he got a raise because of the inflation, right? Um, regular people don't get a raise, but he's the chief medical examiner and he's illegal. He's absolutely illegal. And then maybe he didn't get it. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get it. But he should be, Tom Holman should focus on Mario Raskin Ortiz. I think Mario Raskin Ortiz has a problem. He's in that position, and he's illegal. He's illegal, and I think that Leilani Hart has a problem. I think she has a problem too, because in her notarized affidavit, her sworn affidavit, she confessed to having immigration problems. So this is, that would be, um, yeah, that would be a worrisome with Tom Homan coming in, the border czar, and the real law, So, um, and then of course we have the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, that, who is doing the court cases, because none of those people that claim to be judges have any authority at all. They're all illegal. They're all without any authority at all because they haven't been elected. And the Texas Constitution requires that they be elected. So, yeah, what a mess. What a mess. And so, forgive me if I don't really fully trust anyone coming into the system, much less, uh, you know, James Montoya. Maybe there was a point having Judge Guatemala, uh, swear him in. I hope that made it more legitimate. Um, I hope that the judge made sure that the statement of officer was signed. That um, that for sure that James Montoya didn't take a bribe to get in that situation. That would be nice, right? That would be nice if that's the case. I don't know. I'm at the point where I need to see it. I need to see it because look at what they've done in Richard's case. It's just terrible, and this is a um, misconduct by veterans, by active duty soldiers, and not just misconduct. This is the murder. This is the cover up. This is the retaliation that they did against him. And it was absolutely, I think it was like terroristic, absolutely terroristic activity. Um, I don't know. I don't know what falls underneath that character, but to terrorize somebody, to have this internally ordered and covered up and everything, the destruction, mentally, physically, professionally of a young soldier, I think is when they are just a whistleblower. That was his only fault. There was no other fault there. We looked everywhere to see what would cause them to retaliate so harshly against Richard. And it was because of his whistleblowing. It all makes sense. At the beginning, it didn't make sense. It was like, well, what's going on here? But now it all makes sense because he was a whistleblower. And his unit, we have confirmed, is connected to the Walmart mass shooting. So everything makes sense in that respect. And now, and now we're really counting down the days for the new administration to come in, the real law, the borders are absolutely to get accountability. And so we have been working very, very hard behind the scenes, putting together um, many, many filings, loads of filings, so that we can make sure that we've done everything we can uh, so that our legal cases can just have so much supporting evidence, right? Yes, and that we've been working with the agencies, and so investigations are ongoing, active and ongoing investigations, and we'll see. We'll see if with the new administration how visible that will become, right? How visible, because nobody expected the declaration of death. No one expected them to find Richard's remains, right? So all of that like trickles in, so it doesn't. Um, they don't want you to know. They don't want the public to know. So they do it in a way, not that they're pushing an agenda like they do all the time with Bob Moore or whatever, but and I don't think they do anymore. I don't think they're pushing Bob Moore anymore. But there's stories that they push out there, and ones they want you to hear, ones that are part of the psyop, and then other stories they like to kind of put a cloud over them and hide them and not let you know about them. But I can tell you right now that there are ongoing cases, and we are witnesses to them. And what Richard did was just absolutely amazing, that he stood up to all of their bullying and their abuse of power. That's what it was, abuse of power. So uh, let's talk about the veterans that went uh, in front of the Trump Tower, and then also in New Orleans. Very, both of them from Fort Bragg. Um, both of them, yeah, veterans. And I will tell you this, there are veterans in Richard's case um, that are up to no good. And this is what my dad was saying at the beginning with force. He was just like trying to make everyone understand that there's no esprit de corps. There is absolutely a problem in leadership, that they are bringing people in the military that do not need to be there, that have no love for the country, that have no esprit de corps, that have not been vetted, and and then they take these veterans that are trained to kill. They are absolutely trained to kill, and they get out of the military and they get priority in their jobs for law enforcement and everything. And and like just Lalani Hart at the postal office, how did she even get a job at the postal office? I mean, she's such a confirmed convicted criminal. How did she get the post office? you know so it's these this whole thing with the veterans, and not holding them to account, but letting them. You can't let veterans get away with this major criminal activity just because they're veterans. And, and I'm all for respecting veterans, right? I'm married to a veteran. Um, and I'm fighting like hell for Richard. Um, Absolutely. So, but there's a problem, there's a systemic problem, and there's a systemic leadership problem. Because look at Fort Bragg, which is Fort Liberty, and Fort Cavazos, which, was Fort Hood, and Fort Bliss. The leadership is absolutely stinky. They don't know what the heck they're doing. And they have produced killers because, when you're in the military, you are trained to kill. And they've trained them without esprit de corps, without a love for their country, without a love for their fellow fellow human beings. And, that doesn't make a good ability. There is a systemic problem. And it seems that they have developed this to traffic drugs, traffic equipment, traffic military grade weapons, traffic the ammunition. And did I say traffic the ammunition? That's a very, very big deal. And yeah, um, so it is no surprise for us that these people that want to do harm, like Ryan Ruth, who we've connected to Richard's case, is up to no good. He's up to no good. Um, and, trying to uh, push the whole politics for Ukraine forward. And, and then what's going on now um, with these terroristic acts. I think they're terroristic acts for New Orleans and for the Trump Tower there in Las Vegas. Yeah, this is, out of, and even with the message with, with Tesla's truck, right? So this is definitely a message that they're sending. And this means that veterans need to be scrutinized, y'all. That that's why you can't just let 18-year-olds join the military. They need to be 21, 22 years old, right? 20, they need to be out of the high school scene. So let's say you start interviewing them at 20, and you have to vet them. You can't let them be confirmed convicted criminals like Leilani Hart, right? You can't let that happen. You have to confirm them because you're going to be putting weapons in their hands, see, and putting people's lives in their hands. And so they need to be okay. And, this is not what the reports are. This is not what the reports are, and this is not what we've experienced in Richard's case. These are individuals that can be easily compromised and in debt with all kinds of violations and issues, and that is just does not make a good, healthy military. So, very happy that um, that more has been done to uh, create a much more happy scene. Anyway, it's it's so sad to see the state of our veteran community, that they also have been infiltrated by like this Trojan horse. And I have to look to, in Richard's case, the Veterans Administration, who, with IDES, Pablo, have a big purse to, give those benefits out and enable a criminal group. It enables a criminal group. If you give benefits out to those that are part of your criminal group instead of to veterans that really do have disabilities, then you're enabling a criminal group and you're misusing what's been entrusted to you. By the goodwill of the American people. Because American people want to respect our veterans. And now we have not only the disrespect of our DA's office, the disrespect of our courts, the disrespect of our FBI, the disrespect of our chief medical examiner, disrespect of our representative there. Veronica Escobar is absolutely criminal. And, all of this, hundreds of thousands of children, mostly dead, going through Fort Bliss, our Fort Bliss, the DES, Thomas Kane, totally disgraced, totally a suspect in what happened to Richard. And now we have the VA with our veterans that needs to be totally investigated for fraudulently distribution of veterans benefits, enabling a criminal group. Absolutely. So that's my message for today. And it's really sad to see these attacks right during Christmas that could have been prevented. And then the FBI, everyone's saying, oh, they're lying to us. Yeah. Look at what Jesus Neto did. He, I think he took a bribe. I think that whole house thing with Angela Kachurga's family, I don't know. It really stinks to me. It stinks like a bribe. And that's why making sure that our officials sign the anti-bribe line of the statement of officer before taking an oath is so important. It needs to be a very, very big deal in the state of Texas. It needs to be a very, very big deal. And it should be videotaped. It should be part of the whole swearing in ceremony, that is confirmed publicly, transparently. And, I don't know if Judge Guatemala did that for James Montoya. I don't know. I didn't see it. And it should be absolutely very, very visible, because there is so much corruption. And we'll see. We have, 17 days. The new law, the real law is coming. The real law is coming. I shouldn't say new law. Uh, a new law enforcement head, right? Which is President Trump. The real law is coming. MAGA's here, and the borders are. And the borders are. Tom Homan, he gave an interview again. Every time he gives an interview, he is very, very serious in what they're about to do. If you are in the country illegally, if you didn't do what my mother did, look, my mother She had to go through all the classes. She had to get her citizenship, right? She had to do it legally. When we adopted the boys, we had to do it all legally. All of it, pay for all of it legally. When my grandparents came to this country, my grandfather came through New York, Ellis Island. He had to do it legally, had to pay it, had to fill out the paperwork. Um, so if you're in the country illegally, you are a criminal. And I think that Leilani Hart, through her affidavit, she admits to having immigration problems. So I think she might have a problem. She might have a problem. And it's not about compassion or anything. It's like Dallas Hart. He is the prime suspect in murdering our son. He needs to be absolutely held to account, and if he's found guilty, then in Texas for what happened to Richard, that's the death penalty. And that's what he needs to face. He needs to face the death penalty with many others. And it's not about, not having compassion. 4 years of this, I think our team has had so much compassion. It is about a rule of law. A rule of law. Hundreds of thousands of children, now mostly dead. All this fraud, all of this theft, all of this impersonation, all the problems with the veterans benefits, with the trafficking, with the fentanyl, with all of that. No, we need the rule of law. And if those that have participated in the murder and the cover up of Richard face the death penalty, then that's what needs to happen. And I don't think years in prison is a solution. They need to face the death penalty. Absolutely. And because what is happening here is way beyond just a prison sentence kind of crime. This is absolutely national security breaches and so many deaths. So many deaths. And if they're veteran or not veteran, they need to be scrutinized. These veterans need to be scrutinized because I don't know what happened. But we have let the ball fall, and you can't just be anyone to join the military. You cannot be a confirmed convicted criminal and join the military, and it looks like that's what's been happening. And then they're enabled by the benefits, even falsely got benefits. They're enabled to, if they want, if they so choose, if they're that big of a criminal, to do what happened on New Year's in New Orleans and in Las Vegas. So that's the message for today. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, Anicia. Thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing.